Stability, development, progress. The right strategy of economic growth always requires introduction of specific approaches and choice of proper implementation tools. Success of the strategy in Uzbekistan has been proven by the model now known worldwide as Uzbek Development Model. The approach tested by the time and harsh global challenges. It allowed to utilize all advantages of prudent transition to the market economy and to develop large-scale opportunities out of small things. Prior to the independence, economy of Uzbekistan elsewhere in the Soviet Union was based on the ideology of central planning and distribution. The economy mainly comprised of large, uncompetitive enterprises operating according to the planned objectives and completely isolated from external markets and real demand. The most harmful impact on the Republic's economy was made by its one-sided, distorted structure focused on production of raw materials, total and undisputable monopoly of cotton production with destructive consequences for the economy, environment, and population's gene pool. Prior to the collapse of the Soviet Union, private businesses had only 1.5% share in GDP and was represented by few craftsmen who could hardly survive in the Soviet system only thanks to their indigenous entrepreneurial abilities. Despite abundant natural and mineral resources, labor force, and human potential, the Republic was one of the least developed countries among Union members in terms of standards of living, social, and humanitarian development. Independent Uzbekistan had to radically change the situation by abandoning the outdated stamps and stereotypes and opening way for fundamentally new priorities for the benefit of national development.
Men shu bugundan e'tiboran 1-sentyabrni Jumhuriyatimizda Mustaqillik kuni umumxalq bayrami deb e'lon qilishni taklif
Uzbekistan, from the first days of its independence, abandoned the old and outlived system and made a strong commitment to build a democratic state with a socially oriented market economy and establish a robust civil society. 5 principles were laid into the foundation of building a new state and society. De-idealization of the economy and its priority over politics. During the transition period from the old system to the new one, the state shall become the major reformer and undertake the function of the reform initiator. Law supremacy. Stage-by-stage introduction and implementation of reforms denying various shock therapy models. Implementation of strong social policy and support to socially vulnerable groups of population. In other words, a well-thought, thorough, and continuous evolutionary approach versus the high-risk revolutionary methods. Thanks to efficient strategy, the foundation of the market economy has emerged. Market mechanisms have been established along with the necessary infrastructure institutes and development of competitive environment. Implementation of comprehensive reforms in all areas and sectors of the Uzbekistan's economy resulted in dynamic growth, restoration and development of the private property, which has become the key priority. Private property has received strong constitutional guarantees. Diversified ownership structure of the economy with the new class of private entrepreneurs evolved as a result of large-scale privatization and complete denationalization of major industries, trade, and services. Thinking of the modern breakthrough, let's recall the power of traditions which people of Uzbekistan have in their blood. Challenges faced by the Uzbek people during the Soviet times failed to eliminate business spirit, initiatives, and commercial skills having millennial roots since the times of the Great Silk Road. Small business with huge privileges. It secured its key position not only in the economy of the country, but also became the primary source of market saturation with range of quality products, growth of population income, and key driver for creating jobs. It was acknowledged by the initiative of the President of the Republic of Uzbekistan, Islam Karimov, when he declared 2011 the year of small business and private entrepreneurship. This decision was clearly outlined by a presidential address in December 2010. Today, small business and private entrepreneurship take the special place in the development of our country and society based on their crucial and substantial share in the economy, their role and impact, in other words, based on their enormous importance. One of the most significant priorities throughout the independent development is to create maximum favorable conditions, benefits and preferences, strong support for expedited development of small business and private entrepreneurship. No future of our economy can be secured without this. Words proven by the practice right from the first years of setting the new economic priorities. Principles of prevailing rights of businesses in their interactions with the government, law enforcement and regulatory authorities has been introduced in Uzbekistan at the legislative level. Nowadays, small businesses and private entities submit only one form of statistical reporting once a quarter and financial reporting once a year. 78% of private entities submit tax reports in electronic form. 65 permitting procedures were cancelled within this year only. Procedures for registration of small and private businesses, getting access to the utilities and communications, customs clearance of exported goods have been significantly simplified and made less expensive. New, advanced, open and transparent mechanism was introduced to enable access of small business entities to the public procurements, while number of goods and services are being procured for public funds only from small businesses. One of the most critical factors for strengthening the small business and development of economy has become the implementation of the unique National Personnel Training Program. Starting right from the first years of independence, the system of vocational education covering 1,500 academic schools and professional colleges has been established, and 6 leading foreign universities have opened their branches where their graduates master several specialty fields, obtain skills required, and enter the labor market being prepared. Contrary to many countries where financial sector remains a source of instability and problems for real sector of the economy, financial and banking system of Uzbekistan became the real partner and consultant for small businesses. Special microcredit bank was established to support small businesses, in particular its most vulnerable part, newly established entrepreneurs and micro startups. The bank's lending portfolio has significantly grown in the recent years. Uzbek banks are successful in attracting credit lines of leading Asian and European commercial banks to facilitate procurement of modern equipment and technologies by small businesses. What do we see as a result? Today, 300,000 small business and private entities are successfully represented across all sectors and become the driving force of Uzbek economy. Over 33,000 of modern high-tech companies equipped with most advanced technologies operate in machinery building, pharmaceutical, chemical, textile, electrical engineering, and other industries. For instance, in car making, localization enterprises produce high-technology car components, not only for their major customer GM Uzbekistan, but also for exports. In pharmaceutical industry, dozens of new, mainly small businesses meeting the highest international standards have practically created a new sector of the economy featured with highly competitive products. Another example is up-to-date and innovative enterprises, which are engaged in carpet production in Samarkand and exports more than 50% of their production. Small businesses also grow by leaps and bounds in the area of consumer goods production, food industry, and agricultural products processing. The very fact that Uzbekistan is currently self-sufficient with foodstuffs shows achievements of small business and confirms its critical role in this area. Private business is well represented in the service industry too. Primarily, it applies to the modern information and communication technologies, where small businesses occupy leading positions in production of software, original content, and other services. Involvement of small business in research and innovative activity has created a possibility to enhance existing scientific potential, forming innovative and technological bridge, which leads scientific researchers to their commercial success. For instance, products made by Radio Preparat company are well known among foreign customers, leading US and European pharmaceutical and research companies. Uzbekistan's Fair of Innovative Ideas and Projects, which is held for the 5th time already, allowed numerous small businesses to start their life and currently entered international market. Small businesses also play an important role in Uzbekistan's tourism industry, contributing to significant growth of service level and increase in popularity of local tourist routes. Small businesses and private sector dominate in silk weaving and other traditional handcrafts, of which Uzbekistan is famous from the earliest times. As a result, during the independent history, the share of small businesses in GDP has increased from 1.5% to 54% by 2011. The share of private sector grew to 19% in exports, 22% in industrial output, 32% in investments, 46% in services. For the last 10 years, the sector more than doubled the number of employees, and business entities nowadays employ 75% of labor force. For the same period, a number of small businesses increased twofold and their share in total employment grew by 1.5 times. The following statistics is also remarkable. For the last 6 years, export of small businesses increased by more than 8 times. Currently, practically all agricultural production, overwhelming portion of paid services is credited to the small business. As a result, today, income of 49% of population is derived from the business activities. Following the rapid growth of small business, the new class of owners has emerged, which plays an increasingly important role in the life of the country. It occupies a considerable place in the political arena and evolution of the middle class that forms the basis for democratic society. Logically, in the last parliamentary elections, Uzlidep, a party representing Uzbekistan's entrepreneurs, won the majority of seats in parliament, which shows that small businesses have strong influence and participate actively in the introducing the new legislative acts. The unprecedented global economic crisis of 2008 became a serious test for all world's economies, challenged their macroeconomic stability and viability of chosen economic development strategies. The crisis revealed that the countries focused on internal sources of economic growth with sustainable and developed small business sector could strongly withstand the negative impact of the crisis by taking the relevant economic measures, while the countries which relied on external market, finances and resources affected by crisis far more severely. In these conditions, Uzbekistan's economy, Uzbek model of economic development proved its sustainability and viability. One of the most important directions of the anti-crisis program, development of which had been initiated by the President of the Republic of Uzbekistan in November 2008, was to stimulate domestic demand, creation of conditions and necessary incentives for small and private businesses expansion to create new jobs. If in 2000, the unified tax for small business was equal to 13.5%, in 2010 it was reduced by 2 times, and from January 2012, the rate of unified tax for small industrial entities decreased to 5% out of gross income. As a result, even now, when the possibility of crisis still threatens the global economy, annual growth of Uzbekistan's GDP exceeds 8%, major investment projects being implemented and almost 1 million new jobs created annually. As a logical next step aimed to support small businesses, the decrees of the President of the Republic of Uzbekistan were adopted in July 2012 in order to provide more freedom for businesses and create the most favorable business environment. The essence of the changes introduced can be described as follows. Significant reduction of reporting, licensing and permitting procedures. Creation of the most favorable conditions for business activity comparable with the highest international standards. What does it mean in practice? Since August this year, the number of reporting forms were reduced by 1.4 times. 80 permitting procedures were cancelled. 15, more than 20% licenses for certain types of business activities were abolished. Starting next year, all businesses will have possibility to use extensively remote electronic forms of interaction with many government authorities, and in future, with most of them starting from establishment of the company, execution and performing of transactions, registration of property, customs clearance, participation in public procurement, reporting and many other operations which can be processed directly in office. The regularly monitored system of indicators assessing the degree of liberalization, modernization of economy, enhancing the business climate in the country ensures a prompt feedback from entrepreneurs, efficient and rapid response to various issues. In addition, introduction of the new international criteria for assessing operating environment for entrepreneurs based on the World Bank's doing of business indicators is envisaged. This is aimed at further strengthening competitiveness level at the domestic market, ensuring level playing field, equal access to raw materials, resources and loans based on the market principles for all businesses regardless of their ownership form and structure. More than 20 years of independent development, being short from the historical point of view, show that in terms of the outcomes, this is a period which proved that the strategy chosen was the right one, and the most daring plans are feasible. The period inspired to create something of its own, to conduct open dialogue with the world and to be a reliable partner. And also capability to foresee something of a massive scale in a tiny thing.